Mr. Kerwin Olson, Citizens Action Council.
Thank you, Vice Chair Van Natter, Chairman Cook, members of the committee. Kerwin Olson, Executive Director of the Citizens Action Coalition. First of all, I want to personally support and associate myself and my organization with the comments of our friends at Morton Solar and the Hoosier Environmental Council. Second, I would be remiss if I did not thank Chairman Cook for removing what CAC believed was the absolute most objectionable part of the bill, the previous Section 8, the decoupling mandate, and we appreciate that has come out of the bill. We did object, as you know, loudly to that section. However, that should not translate in any way, shape, or form to CAC support of the legislation. I know there are tons of people signed up to speak, so I will speak specifically just to a few points. First of all, this whole notion of this subsidy, we reject in its entirety. It's just remarkable to us that the statutory monopolies, who have a regulatory burden of proof that comes along with that privilege of being a statutory monopoly with a guaranteed rate of return, can come to the Indiana General Assembly year after year after year and pass legislation that effectively allows them to not meet that regulatory burden of proof that accompanies that privilege that they have. If there is indeed a subsidy that exists, if these utility companies are indeed not collecting their fixed cost necessary to provide reliable service 365, 24/7 as they are charged with, then prove it. There is a forum called the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission where decisions are made based on evidence of record. And if these utility companies are under-collecting revenues, not collecting their authorized fixed costs, then let's display that with evidence in a base rate case before the Regulatory Commission. The fact is there is no subsidy because these utility companies are collecting their authorized revenues requirements. Revenue requirements include a utility company's cost of service as well as a utility company's authorized rate of return. And the reality is utility companies in the state of Indiana are whole, they are healthy, they are fully collecting authorized revenues. Take a look at those earnings statements. Those companies are doing pretty well, and they are fulfilling that awesome responsibility that they have to provide service 365, 24/7. Well, the lights are on. There's no issues there. So if, in fact, there is this illusory subsidy, then they should be required to display that with evidence before the Commission, which is why we find most troubling the fact that in Section 11 of the bill, they would be allowed to establish this fixed charge to customers who choose to spend their own money to put solar panels on their own roof, customers that make that choice. Let's make there's some confusion here that somehow there's subsidization going on with the installation of solar panels. That's simply not true. We're talking about private money and people's own choices and own finances. But in Section 11, this would allow utility companies to charge a fixed cost on customers within a 30-day filing. When you're talking about cross-subsidization, subsidies, fixed cost, fixed charges, that's something that should be fully vetted in a general rate case where all of a utility's costs and everything that's going on can be looked at and evaluated. That's part of why the Commission has repeatedly rejected the idea of decoupling rates for electric utility companies, because what are fixed costs when it comes to electric service? It's not as easy as water and gas, where you have some pipes and valves and pumps, and you open it up, and they're basically distribution utilities. These are electric, vertically integrated utilities, where 75% of that bill is some sort of fixed charge associated with either generation, distribution, or transmission, and which portion of that folks should pay is a good question, but it's not a question that can be answered in a 30-day filing. It's only a question that can be answered with evidence presented before the Commission in a general rate proceeding and the opportunity for intervening parties to conduct discovery and provide rebuttal testimony. There is no rationale or justification to pass legislation authorizing unnecessary fees or charges on captive customers without utility companies providing some sort of evidence that those fees and charges are necessary. What this bill effectively is going to do is eviscerate the customer-owned rooftop solar PV and small-scale wind market in the state of Indiana merely because the utilities see the writing on the walls. We have states like Arizona, states like New Jersey, where 500, 600, 700, 800 roofs every month are being lined with solar PV. And the monopolies are protecting their revenues, protecting their profits, and embedding their monopoly status. And I urge you to stand with your constituents, stand with consumers, and reject House Bill 1320 and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Please hold your applause.